political career, I know you have been in the leadership system for a while, but in the last elections you could not make it because you did not get enough votes, let's say. However, we're again going back for another election. 2026 is at the corner. Many people are asking questions. Is Honorable Bernard Atiku coming back? Others already thinking you could maybe come to the city as a mayor, which we have had as a rumor. Make us a clarification. Are you contesting? Which position, and what is the gap you've observed?
First of all, I must be grateful to God that I'm still alive and healthy, and also still serving his people. I must say I'm one of those privileged Ugandans and sons of West Nile who attempted politics for the first time and made it. I left university in 2004 and of course graduated in 2005, and in 2006 I was already in active politics in ARUA district when I contested as a district councillor representing Adumi sub-county, and the people of Adumi voted for me. When I joined the council, I was also elected to chair the Committee of Social Services, where I was able to serve districts like Maracha, Terego, Madiokolo, Vura, now the current ARUA, now ARUA City. I had the opportunity to oversee social services across almost, that is like half of West Nile. I had that opportunity, and it gave me enormous experience in understanding firsthand how local government works in terms of legislation, in terms of service delivery, in terms of political oversight, and that gave me the experience as an academic or as a graduate without an experience either in a civil service or in a civil society service or in a private, business. I was able to have a good foundation for a political career. Now, when I made my first attempt for Member of Parliament in 2011, it was no surprise that I made it without having to bribe voters, without having to do any voter engineering or election engineering, because some people go to that parliament after either bribing voters, bribing election officials or electoral commission officials, or manipulating even the votes that have been cast. That never happened with me. I contested, I was elected genuinely, and I made my inaugural step in the national politics. And for the first time, I retained also my seat in 2016, after battling it out, of course, with other candidates. The history of ARUA municipality and Ayivu is that nobody used to retain that seat. And I was the first in Ayivu to retain the seat for 10 years. And that came with a lot of hard work, both at constituency level, at district level, at West Nile regional level, and at national level. In the 9th Parliament, I was able to bring a private member's bill to amend the Children's Act, which was assented to by the President, and of course, plus other constitutional roles of Member of Parliament, where I participated in various committees and did my job diligently. where we're able to lobby for the region. The national grid electricity that I've been talking about is partly because of the pressure we put on government and our involvement or strategic placement in the committees of parliament. I've been in the committee of, while in the 9th parliament, I sat in the committee of government assurances. Now, government assurance committee is where all the pledges of government, fulfilled and outstanding, are recorded. So I had the first-hand information to keep lobbying the various ministries and even reminding the president to say, you promised the people of West Nile this, when are you delivering? You promised the people of West Nile a public university, when are you delivering? And we were able to get Muni University. You promised us electricity, when are you delivering? When I was re-elected in the 10th parliament, I kept knocking on that pledge, and I relocated from committee of, committee of government assurances to committee of national economy, where now the monies are sourced or government requests for loans are, scrutinized and presented to parliament. When they are bringing loans for similar projects of electricity in the energy Ministry of Energy, I was able to raise my voice and say, Chair, if this loan you are bringing doesn't have the component for West Nile, I will implore the rest of the committee's members not to entertain this request. Where is the loan request that is going to connect West Nile to the national grid? And that's how we're able to secure the $100 million, which is now doing this project. So at national level, I delivered. At regional level, as the chairperson of West Nile Parliamentary Caucus, first, of course, in the 9th Parliament, I worked as the Secretary General under the chairmanship of Honorable Kassiano Wadri. And we had a number of positive achievements we recorded. And when Honorable Kassiano never made it back to Parliament, I was elected on the basis of institutional memory. Because as Secretary General, I had a lot of information. Basically, I used to set the agenda for discussion. So the new members found it valid for me to become the chairperson of the caucus. And in the 2.5 years I served as the chairperson of the caucus, we were able to set the agenda, we were able to lobby, we were able to, summon permanent secretaries, executive directors of UNRWA, of Ministry of Works and Transport, Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Finance. I was able to summon them and they came to Parliament. Others requested us to go and meet them at their offices and their boardrooms. We were able to meet them and put issues concerning electricity, road infrastructure. By that, I must mention that we actually secured the funding for these roads that I mentioned. We secured funding for the road from Nebi through Goli to Paida to Zombo and Ware up to Vura. And then from Adomi Road up to Odamachaku. We secured that money. What was remaining for our government to sign the loan agreement with the World Bank so that this money can be put in the pipeline for us, for them to do the road. And then we secured money from African Development Bank to do the road from Koboko through Yumbe up to Laropi through Moyo. That money, we secured it in the 10th Parliament. I'm wondering why up to now that road is not yet done. We secured the money for the road from Manibe through Terego up to Yumbe. Then there's also this junction which is supposed to go to Rhino Camp. There's a grant which was given to us by the Japanese government. That money, by now, that road should have already been completed. I don't know what our current leaders are doing. They need to follow up those monies because that was a grant, it wasn't a loan, and we expected that road to have been done by now. Now, we also secured money for buying a new ferry to connect West Nile to Acholi through Amur on River Nile, and by now that ferry should be operating I'm wondering why the ferry is not operating, why our people are not using that route. We secured the money for doing the road from Atiku through Ajumani to Laropi. And as we talk, that one is being done, and I think it is almost at 70%, because there's now tarmac from Atiku up to Ajumani, and we expect the stretch from Ajumani up to Laropi to be completed very soon. Now, these road networks, we already made a case for them, and when it comes to bringing services closer to the people, when I went to Parliament, we had 23 members of Parliament representing this vast region. Of course, I know people have their own views about the big size of Parliament. Now, this big size of Parliament is being sustained by taxpayers. Now, at our time, when we were only 23, the people of West Nile were sustaining MPs and districts which were created in other parts of the country. So we said, must we be the ones to shoulder the burden of this tax-laden parliament or local governments which have been created? If that is the bandwagon, let us all go there. If time comes for government to downsize the size of parliament, then we shall all be affected equally. But for now, let us all go there. Let's increase the number of our members of parliament. I am happy to say that we have 42 directly elected members of parliament from this region. Yes, if they are being paid from the consolidated fund, just the way people in Western have members of parliament, people in Acholi, from Lango and other places, let our people also get something and also bring to the region. Let also increase our voice in the Augusta House. When I went there, we never had Obongi district. Of course, there was collective effort in supporting the area member of parliament, Honorable Fungaro, to ensure that Obongi, because Obongi was a remote area, it needed to be given a district status so that services can be taken closer to people. Instead of them trekking to Moyo, sometimes you find actually people from Obongi coming for services up to ARUA, but now because of its district status, they have taken their cow, they have taken their RDC. RDC is in charge of security. The cow is in charge of service delivery in that area. There's a DHO, district health officer. But the people tend to look at the political burden of creation of these administrative units. But the bigger benefit is in terms of service delivery. We now have a DEO for Obongi. We have a DEO for Koboko. We have a DEO for Yumbe. We have a DEO for Maracha. We have a DEO for Terego. We have a DEO for ARUA. We have a DEO for Mediokolo. But previously, my good friend Tembo Kabantinto was a DEO for Yumbe, Koboko, Maracha, Terego, Mediokolo, ARUA district, ARUA city. Imagine one person, and then plus maybe one inspector of schools, plus one senior inspector of school for the special needs. Now, a few people traversing the entire region. But because of the creation of these administrative units, we now have technical officers who used to be in ARUA, now replicated at constituency level almost, let's say county level. That to me is a benefit. Maracha became a district during my tenure of office, right from ARUA District Council up to Parliament. Terego became a district during my tenure. Actually, it was during our debate for the creation of ARUA City that Terego became a district, Mediokolo became a district, and now Vora County becoming ARUA district. These are developments I proudly associate myself with, because we are looking at the bigger picture of taking services closer to our people, where these administrative units now would have these technical officers like the DHO, the COW, the DEO, and what have you, to deliver services to those areas. And I think we have all seen the benefit of having these technical officers at those levels.
Are you coming back based on the fact that there were things you did, but also you started and were not concluded?
Of course, at personal level, yes. I let me start with the constituency level. I've been mentioning what I did at national level, at regional level. But Ayivu, when I took on Ayivu, Ayivu was big, with a population of over 200 and now close to 300,000 people, with 7 sub-counties, with 48 parishes. What did I do to ensure that we have effective representation at the national level? We took a proposal of having Ayivu broken down into 4 constituencies under the ARUA city system. Now, we would be having ARUA Ayivu Central, that is Pajulu, as a constituency and also as a division of itself. We would be having Adumi and Ayivuni as Ayivu West constituency and also division. We would be having Ayivu North constituency and division, that is Aroye and Manibe. Then we would be having Ayivu East, consisting of Oluku and Dadam, as a constituency and also as a division. Now, that was the original proposal we submitted to government. And indeed, Parliament received it, Minister of Local Government received it, Cabinet received it, Minister of Finance received it. But at the time of passing the motion for ARUA City, because of the bloating of the number of cities from 4 originally planned to 15, Ministry decided to reduce on this number of constituencies and divisions in the cities. So each city that was created was given a provision of 2 divisions. So that is why we are now in the state in which we are, but our proposal still remains valid because they were justified in terms of population, in terms of geographical size or map, and therefore any leader who goes to Parliament to represent Ayivu should have lobbied for that, or should have continued to knock on the doors of Minister of Finance, on the doors of Minister of Local Government, on the doors of Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, on the doors of Cabinet or State House, to ensure that Ayivu gets its fair share of political representation and also administrative units to be able to deliver services. But as you all know, at the moment Ayivu has only 1 division and 2 constituencies. Of course, I do applaud the Minister of Local Government and Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs and Parliament for giving us 1 additional seat in Parliament. From independence to date, to 2021, it was Atiku Bernard who was able to get Ayivu 1 additional seat in Parliament. Then if you add also getting ARUA Central retained as a constituency, means that's another seat in the Parliament. That's the second. Then City Woman MP, that's the 3rd. So ARUA City has 4 political representatives in Parliament. That is an achievement I associate with myself. I was able to give additional seats for my people. I was able to give additional seats. Terego used to have only 1 MP. Now Terego has how many? 3 members of Parliament. After we created Terego district out of after ARUA City being created. We gave Maracha additional seat by splitting Maracha into 2. We now have Maracha County and the Maracha East constituency, plus the woman MP, 3 members of Parliament in that August House. Vora, ARUA district, which is of course Vora constituency, now has 2 members of Parliament. They should be having 3. If we work together, if I was in that Parliament by now, as we move to the next election, we would be asking for Vora's or ARUA districts, 3rd seat for constituency, because every single 1 county district was a pronouncement by the president and also by Minister of Local Government that they must be split 2, so that they have 3 representatives in Parliament. So ARUA district is missing 1 seat, And that is an assignment for those who are members of parliament now in ARUA district, and probably even the West Nile caucus, to be able to advocate for it, because it's the only district with it which is missing. And it's not the only one, including Obongi. Obongi is supposed to have also 3 seats, but Obongi at the moment is only having 2, the woman MP and the constituency MP. So we expect this the members to work together to be able to focus on that. Now for Ayivu, those are some of the achievements. At a personal level, I was able to initiate Ayivu Education Promotion Fund. We have been able to sponsor over 120 children. Some now are doing bachelor's degree courses, others already working. The other day I had one of them called me from Yumbe. He's now a clinical officer. But that was out of the Ayivu Education Promotion Fund that we initiated. The former guild president of Makerere, Lawrence Alionzi, was one of the pioneer beneficiaries of Ayivu Education Promotion Fund. I didn't know. He's the one who reminded me that when we were launching that initiative, he was one of those who walked away with the mattress and the scholastic materials. So, thirdly, I was able to do what we call Ayivu headquarters. That land used to be bare. People would be rearing goats there, what? But that was the county headquarters of Ayivu. I started constructing there. As we talk, we have a building there where actually Ayivu division headquarters started from. And it is a building I take pride in. It has been able to now yield the other developments you see in Ayivu headquarters there. We now have other buildings which have been renovated. We now have a police headquarters there. We have some order in the county headquarters. If you are to go across West Nile, if there is any traditional county headquarters which is in the state of Ayivu, it is only Ayivu division. I don't know whether there is any other. If you went to Terego, you went to Madiokolo, you went to Hodumi in Vurahia. But because I knew that was our headquarters, it had to be preserved. The land had to be protected. We had to make sure there's the presence of government, because people had started encroaching on the land. I'm sure if you go to other county headquarters, people have encroached. But the one of Ayivu has not been encroached, because I made sure there was presence of leadership and government. And the Ayivu division now is operating there. And soon, when other divisions will be created out of Ayivu, they will be able to have a smooth transition. Last but not least, there are projects I lobbied for. Rural electrification. Ayivu West, electricity used to stop in Nduparaka. This side of Ayivu East, electricity used to stop in Imvara. But my first project for rural electrification went to Dadamu, it went to Oruko, up to Binze. Then this side of Manibe, there's electricity, the power line which went to Terego. Then this side of Aroi, along the route to Koboko. Then Ayivu West from Onduparaka up to Nyovra, there's now electricity.